So I can guarantee some of you are all going to think, wow, doesn't that look like a normal 19-year-old kid's bedroom? Well, I mean, if you're 19 years old and you're putting a 4BT Cummins in your F250 with a ZF5, I guess that's I guess you could call that normal. So, what we've got here, we've got some goodies from Diesel Conversion Specialists. They really put this nice kit together here to get this 4BT to kind of seamlessly go into our F250. So, I'm going to show you first the kind of their getting started kit, which I first bought through Diesel Conversion Specialists. So what this first kit here consists of is a 4BT to small block manual transmission adapter kit. So this is the adapter right here that'll go to our small block ZF5, mates right up to our 4BT Cummins. The next thing on their getting started kit came with a small block Ford clutch kit with the internal slave. So right here, this is our south bend clutch. There's some part numbers for you for your reference. We'll open this thing up. So here's our south bend clutch here. Comes with a nice little sticker, install key, pilot bearing, yada yada yada. Next thing on this kit here, we've got a engine mount kit for F-150 91 through 97. It'll work from 80 through 97, I believe. So here's their prefabbed engine mounts. These here, you knock your stock 5-liter or whatever engine that your rig has in it, 4.9, 5.0, 5.8. You knock them engine mounts off. These seamlessly bolt right on in their place. This here, there's one for each side of the engine. This is the part that bolts to our engine block. Got some nice little isolators on it. Get rid of them 4-cylinder vibrations like them 4BTs like to do. Next part of that getting started kit is some sensor adapters. Basically, water temp adapters, oil pressure sensor adapters. Comes with some power steering couplers and everything to get your power steering dialed in. See here if we can find the adapters. Here's comes with some hardware. See here. Anyway, basically all they are is NPT fittings, adapters for that. So this is their getting started kit. This is each product valued on here. They actually don't sell this stuff separately. It all comes as one big kit. There's kind of a price there on that getting started kit. So basically this will get our 4BT able to be put in there. This is everything we need to get that powertrain in there and working. Right here is this install kit. The next install kit that I bought, I wouldn't say it's an install kit, but something else that works that we're going to need for our application here is they call it their high mount AC kit. And so basically what that consists of, this is not part of their kit. Anyway, what this consists of is a bracket to put your air conditioning and alternator on right here. That's one of the brackets. Comes with a nice belt here. Little thank you from Diesel Conversion Specialists. This is another bracket for your alternator / AC compressor. Comes with a bunch of O-rings, a bunch of hardware. This right here in this box, Gates box, that is our auto tensioner. They come with some very nice instructions here. Say thank you for your purchase. They give you some nice instructions on how to modify your water neck and your Cummins engine to be able to get this kit to work here for you. So basically this allows us, we run a Sanden style AC compressor as states on here. We'll be able to incorporate we could use a Ford 6.0 style alternator. We could use a Ford 7.3 Power Stroke alternator, a 6.4 Power Stroke alternator, or you can use your Ford small block alternator that came with your pickup. It just depends what kind of amperage you want for your alternator. I think I'm going to go with the diesel alternator, but it has to be with the serpentine belt setup. So another thing we ordered was recommended by diesel conversion specialists is this straight up water outlet here. This will make it so when we make our radiator hoses, they'll tie right in real easy. Just kind of an overview on all of that stuff. Water neck, $105. Tells you what kind of thermostat you should run. This is the air conditioning. I would call it the manifold outlet for our Sanden AC compressor. This will bolt right on the back of our Sanden AC compressor, and this will allow us to make some custom air conditioning lines to our Ford pickup here to get this all to work. They walk you through everything, tell you how to do it. You kind of got to do some modifications here to your water outlet here. I've already done that on mine. Very thorough kit here. Some also instructions on I don't think they have instructions out for their manual kit yet, so their automatic kind of basically covers everything that you need. This is for that getting started kit, the first kit I showed you. Walks you through, how to put everything together, torque specs. You kind of modify your block here, right there to show you. You take a cutoff wheel, you cut this part of the block off to be able to install this adapter here. Walk you through, tell you to, make sure your starter fits correctly. Like I said, Ford 6.0 Power Stroke starter. Tell you how to clean the threads out your block if they're dirty, and to install these engine mounts here. Very, pretty thorough instructions here, I have to say. And it comes with a adapter for your vacuum pump when you're running that. Tells you where to install your temp sensors with their adapters that I was talking about. There's your compression fitting to make your custom power steering hose. They even show you actually how to make it, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, that's kind of the overview of the stuff I got from Diesel Conversion Specialists. We got some other goodies. We got some Prismic Powder Cerakote. I want to say it's like a flat black color. I'll be Cerakoting the exhaust manifold and exhaust housing on the turbocharger. We've got lots of paint here from Duplicolor. We'll paint everything with this engine enamel primer. And we've got our turbo here painted in Cummins beige through Duplicolor. Our engine's going to be Cummins beige, along with this Duplicolor gloss black accent. So valve covers gloss black, timing cover, yada yada yada, all that kind of stuff. And over here we actually have a vacuum pump for our 4BT. I think a lot of people call this a Wabco style vacuum pump. Gear driven vacuum pump. On the back of it goes a Saginaw power steering pump. We have to run the Saginaw style power steering pump with the remote reservoir due to having the P-pump Cummins engine. So this is kind of an overview of everything we've got here thus far. This conversion process, there's a lot of parts, a lot of lists that you have to fill. But Diesel Conversion Specialists, they definitely help you out on this. I'm not sponsored by them, but hey, I would definitely take one. But so yeah, this is our overview of our part of our 4BT swap kit here. There's a lot of parts, but it's going to be awesome when it's done. Along with that clutch kit that I showed you on that invoice through Diesel Conversion Specialist, I forgot to show you this this flywheel here. It's a clutch kit plus a flywheel, so this is a custom flywheel to your 4BT engine. Obviously, comes with your pilot bearing. Basically, it utilizes a Ford 6-liter starter, so the ring gear mates right up with that. Very nice unit here. Just wanted to show you that because I forgot to state it earlier. Right here, we've got our 3.9 Cummins. You can tell this probably looks a little bit different from when you guys have seen it last. I haven't done a ton of work to it. I've been slowly working on it because I've been busy, but we're getting it ready for paint, and basically what we're doing is we're resealing the engine, so it's got new front rear main seals. The whole engine is going to get resealed is what's going to happen. And as you notice, the oil pan now is a rear sump setup. I bought a different pickup tube for it. You put that new pickup tube on there, and then you put your oil pan back on with a new gasket, of course. You've put it on backwards, and now it's a rear sump. So what we'll be doing is we're going to be installing these Diesel Conversion Specialist parts here, the ZF5 adapter for the rear, and also the air conditioning high mount AC kit. So over here on their instructions, they're showing us that we need a straight up down water neck, which I do in fact have. Their part number is a 1029, or the Cummins part number is right there. And with this high mount AC kit, since there's limited space on this 4BT engine, it's a lot smaller than the 6BT variant, you have to run a oil filter relocation kit. The one that they used on their application happened to be a pack brake kit. I decided to not go that way because I don't think there's anything wrong with this kit here, but I feel better using this plate here. Cummins uses this plate on some applications, and actually what it does, instead of leaving the stock lube oil cooler plate on there with an adapter screwed into where the oil filter would go, you physically remove the lube oil cooler cover, you put this new cover on here, you buy the internals through Cummins, so there's a spring, a plunger, this cap here, an O-ring, and your turbocharger oil feed fitting. And basically what it does, instead of using that pack brake system where you still have the stock lube oil filter cover, where these paper towels are, there's physically threaded ports here, so there's an out and an in, so dirty oil out, clean oil back in. Basically what you do is you run a remote oil filter setup that way. And I like this idea because Cummins actually uses it on their engines in stock form. I think it depends on what engine you have, but they actually use this on some of their engines. And what it does is it uses a -10 orb fitting O-ring boss that screws into each one of these ports here. And of course you get some custom hoses made. You get your oil filter housing, I guess you could call it, that you screw your oil filter into, and then that takes care of the oil filter relocation. So this one actually does not happen to be a Cummins part number. Right now with COVID and this stupid part that the world is in right now, you can't get parts. And this part through Cummins is almost $450. I think that's ridiculous. I got looking on a forum there, and there's a guy doing the exact same thing to his engine, and this is actually made in China. And believe it or not, I'm willing to bet a lot of these Cummins parts are made in China. This fitting here for the oil lube turbocharger line says China right on it. So this is a Chinese version, and I paid $100 after tax and shipping. So I don't think that's too bad. Guy used it on his forum. Looks, machining quality is very nice. I don't think we'll have any issues with it. So let's get this AC bracket installed here. So one of the first things we're going to want to do is this is our lifting eyelet. According to diesel conversion specialists, I'm actually not going to put the O-rings in this right now because this is just for mock-up. You put an O-ring in here on this here thermostat housing, and then you put this and this upper water neck on here. But we're just going to put this on here for demonstration. I just want to make sure everything is going to work. We're going to sit here. We're going to get this water neck in here screwed in. There's 3 bolts. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this bracket out of our kit here, along with this set of hardware that they give us. We're going to do a bracket mock-up here. Let me get this bag open, get this thing slapped on here. So you're going to take your bolt and the washer on each bolt. Take this bracket. You're going to put your O-ring behind here if you're doing this for real. This is just for mock-up. Throw these bolts in down here. Yeah. There we go. Get these bolts thrown in. And there is dowels here to kind of help you align this. They kind of sit up against the block here. Get that thrown on. We're not going to tighten these up quite yet here. You can get this. Next thing, do not fully tighten them according to the instructions here. Next thing we're going to do, so they give you another gasket, of course, and now we're going to install our lower water neck. And here is the bolt pack that they give you to install your water neck here. Get these puppies open. Extra long bolts. And of course you put your O-ring here if you were doing this for real. I'm just getting it a mock up here. Then bolts placed in. We'll go ahead and snug, tighten these up most of the way. Another thing to mention that I talked about earlier is they show you how to modify your water outlet here to be able to work with this system. I went ahead and did this last night. I didn't record it, but all I did is I got a 4.5 inch angle grinder, put a cutoff disc on it, and just cut that off just like they show you how to. And that's just achieve enough clearance because your compressor is going to be sitting right here. That's the part number on the water neck that you need to have, 3934-877. Next thing we're going to install is the belt tensioner bracket. They told us to install our AC compressor. I actually don't have one right now. I haven't bought it yet. But so we're going to install this tensioner here. Here's our bracket hardware baggie here. Comes with some bolts. Go ahead and put this thing on here. If I had to guess, probably goes something like that. Let's get this thing put up here. Like that. Out of that same hardware bag, we will install this bolt here through our tensioner. This is our tensioner assembly. It's in that box. And they show us in the instructions here, we're going to put the bolt in alignment hole A. Let's go ahead and do that. It says align the retaining pin with the alignment hole A. Alignment hole B is provided to allow for various pulley sizes and belt stretch. So we're going to put this here. So our pin goes in the A. It says A on there. Let's get this tensioner up on here. Our nice gates tensioner here. That's on there. We're not going to tighten all this stuff down. This is just for mock-up. I just want to make sure all this stuff has clearances and is going to work before I go and paint my engine here. So that tensioner. Next we'll install this bracket. This is our alternator bracket with these bolts. It looks like I am missing one bolt. I'm missing an M8 by 125 by 40. So that is something to know. I am missing some bolts here. Just go ahead and put this thing on. So there's that. Sweet. You're told to install your alternator. These are your alternator choices that you can run. They give you the bolts in that same hardware kit I just showed you. I don't have any of that stuff right now. There's supposed to be the finished product there once you install your belt, which they give you. So there's that. And here's on my engine right now. Everything seems to fit okay. I'll have to figure out what this is here for. I was thinking like for my heater core lines, but I don't need that, so I'm gonna have to find a plug for it. But because I have this right here, so we'll have to figure something out with that hole. But there's the high mount AC kit from Diesel Conversion Specialist installed. Of course, I don't have my accessories on it and the belt and everything, but this is just a mock-up. Make sure it fits. So the next thing on our agenda here, I've went and took the liberty of removing my engine from the engine stand. It's supported by the forklift, so hopefully it doesn't fall. If it does fall, we'll wish it didn't. So next on our agenda, you're going to be making some modifications here to this engine block to incorporate this Zia 5 adapter plate here. So they show us here bolting this onto the engine here, Diesel Conversion Specialist. Next thing we're going to do, they show you before bolting on the adapter plate, material will be removed from the block. You see these little deals here. We're going to go to town with our little angle grinder here and make this here modification. So let's go ahead and do that. I went ahead and got this plate thrown up here just to test fit it before I had to cut the block like they tell you to, and I'm not sure why they're showing you to cut the block, because I don't run into any fitness issues down here. This is perfectly flush. And where the starter goes, there's quite a bit of room there, and I haven't even trimmed anything. The instructions they have released are only for the automatic conversions, and this is a manual, so the plate looks like it's a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and contact them, see, you know, kind of send them some pictures in this email here. Their customer support is pretty great. We're going to get this bolt issue figured out here too, and so let's go ahead and do that. Just got off the phone with customer service, that diesel conversion specialist. I had a question about, you know, trimming the mounting bosses here on this block to attain some clearance for this starter pocket, and I sent him this picture over, and he said that there is no issue there. He said usually that clearance has to be trimmed more or less when you have the automatic adapter plate here. Mine is for the small block ZF5, if you guys can see here, so that's one less thing that I have to worry about, which is cool. If you guys end up doing the same thing, you probably won't have to trim there either. I was missing a bolt on my high mount AC kit, like I mentioned earlier. I went and contacted them. They're going to send me a bolt right over, as well as a free t-shirt. So hey, mistakes happen, guys. You can be civil about it, and it works out better in the end. So great company to work with. Their customer service is fantastic, and I'm very happy so far. So this looks great. Let's get it thrown back on the engine stand. Well, we got the Cummins sandblasted the best we could. We're wanting to paint it. Head was pretty rusty. I did the best I could with not taking the head off or stripping the engine down here. Somebody will probably make fun of me for using that much masking tape, but hey, I paid for it and it works. I've spent enough time on this getting it cleaned up, so they got it wiped down here with paint thinner and kind of cleaned it up, waiting for it to dry. Yeah, I see the rust and stuff on the back of the engine. It's not perfect, but you're not going to see the back of the engine when it's in the pickup. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing painted here. Got the quote-unquote service rig, got my toolbox on there open, and let's get here painted. One thing to note, I didn't clean up the valve covers to paint those, or this intake 90 here. I'm not going to be using these two pieces. This piece here, I'm going to put a grid heater in, and then there's a company called Pusher Intakes who makes intake that I want to put on this thing here. And like I said, I spent a lot of time cleaning this thing up. I've probably spent almost $200 worth of blast media cleaning this engine up, and I'm just to the point where it needs to get painted. I've spent way too much time on it. Yeah, I know this place is a mess out here. I hated it. It's not my place, it's the farm. But someone will probably say something about that or notice that. Hey, I hate it. I wish it wasn't this messed up, but this was like this before even I was born. So this is just my shop here, and customer vehicle right there to work on. But 3 coats of primer laid down, got the little heater going. She's pretty much flashed off here. We're gonna go and smash on some Cummins beige, and I think she'd be looking pretty good. You guys think, huh? She is, YouTube. Cummins beige. 3 coats of primer, 3 coats of paint. Looks pretty good, especially gonna be sweet when I get the valve covers black, and then I'm putting a different intake on it, but I like that color, desert tan, basically. Turned out sweet. That's what originally this engine was Cummins beige, so we went with the same thing through Duplicolor. I think it turned out awesome. So hopefully it dries, but we'll get this freaking heater blowing on it real good. It's I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, time for me to go up to college. So 2-hour drive. We're gonna get there at 1 and go to class tomorrow.